Many brace the cold weather this weekend to take a dip into even colder water. We have a look into this year's polar plunge, and it's the year of the dog. See how one organization brought a Chinese New Year celebration to campus.
And it looks like this big patch of rain is finally moving out of our area. We could be seeing some lighter rain throughout the night, but overall not as bad as what we saw today.
We have that and more. This edition of The Shield starts right now.
Live from the VUTV studio in Schnabel Hall on the campus of Valparaiso University. This is The Shield on VUTV.
Thank you for joining us on The Shield. I'm Blake Harms.
And I'm Katie Nickolaou. With spring break coming up in 2 weeks, it's important to know the Res Life closing dates. The residence halls will be closing for spring break on Saturday, March 3rd at noon and will reopen Sunday, March 18th at noon. If you plan on staying on campus over break, today is your last day to fill out the housing application forms. Each night over break costs $25 and there is a $50 late fee for late applicants.
The Chinese Students Association celebrated Chinese New Year on Friday, February 16th in the ballroom. There were many different games to play, including jumping rope, beanbag toss, and carry the balloon. Playing these games gave you a chance to win prizes and a good luck Chinese New Year envelope with money inside or a traditional Chinese knot. The event was all student-led and organized.
Sigma Alpha Iota, the women's music fraternity here on campus, held their post-Valentine's Day musicale last night to promote their organization and to motivate students to make a stronger connection to music. In addition to recruiting new members, their biggest goal was to inspire women with all kinds of interests to perform their musical talents during the SAI's monthly events. We spoke with the directors of the musicale to find out what they most enjoy about putting on these events.
In SAI, I am co-music director. We have choir every Thursday night at 9:15, and it's a great way for us to contribute what we love to do to the sisterhood and bring everyone together. Tonight is our post-Valentine's Day musicale. We were supposed to have it the day before, and we couldn't. So this is just a way for us to showcase our musical abilities, whether that be sisters who play an instrument or do acting or even sing. We try to put on events at least once a month, but in our sisterhood, just in our own meetings, we have sisters performing almost every chapter in choir.
I love SAI. I've appreciated that I've been able to meet people around campus that I normally wouldn't meet if they aren't in my ensemble, if they're not a music major like I am. I've connected with so many people outside of my disciplines, and I've loved getting to connect with them in such a profound way as music. I joined SAI because I appreciated that they really deeply valued music, and that was its center and its purpose, because that's really something that is a central focus in my life. And so knowing that there were other people and other females that were also interested in focusing on music and developing music in different ways in the community together was just really exciting to me.
SAI's purpose is to serve the community musically and serve our philanthropies and make sure we're just establishing ourselves in the most appropriate way possible and showing everyone that we are strong-willed women who just love music.
On Saturday, many braced the cold temperatures to take a dip into even colder waters for the annual polar plunge. Hear what community members, students, and those who put on the event had to say about it.
This is the 20th year of the Polar Plunge.
This is actually a really cool event. It's the Special Olympics of Indiana's signature fundraiser.
No reason. Reason for a reason.
It's freezing for a reason.
Coming into today, I didn't know if I was going to end up jumping or not.
It's a good cause. And I was like, you know what? I should actually try make an effort to go to it this year. Going into it, I was excited. I was jumping left and right. And then when I got into the water, I was like, I gotta get out. As soon as I got in, I was like, oh, I gotta get out, and just ran back inside. Yep. And I reached out to him 2 days before. I was like, can I still join? And he was like, yeah, absolutely.
We raised the most money that we've ever raised, $88,847.69. I knew I was gonna jump in. Everybody was saying it was cold, but why not?
Every year, the polar plunge raises money for the Special Olympics. We've definitely seen a big change in temperature since this weekend. We'll now turn to meteorologist Katie Nickolaou. Katie, are these warm temperatures going to stick with us?
You know, it's going to be a roller coaster kind of day as far as temperatures go, and that's going to continue on throughout the week. Right now, though, the main threat is going to be these flood watches and warnings. For Porter County, we're seeing 2 river flood warnings. Now, that's because these river heights are getting up to around 10 feet of water right around flood stage, so it's not very safe, especially if you live in those surrounding areas. Luckily for us, though, on campus, all we have to worry about are some puddles and some ponding on the sides of the roads. So hopefully, though, we won't be seeing too much more rain as we go into the evening, as the main batch has already moved through.
Thank you, Katie. A town is left in mourning after a school shooting on Valentine's Day. We have new developments on the case of Nickolaou Cruz. And an immigration reform policy was dealt a major blow last week. We have more information on DACA coming up. Stick with us.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
Nickolaou Cruz made his first appearance in court at 1 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon. Cruz is being charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder for opening fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on Valentine's Day. Cruz set off fire alarms and targeted students with a semi-automatic AR-15 rifle. He then blended in with the fleeing crowd and went to a nearby McDonald's before he was taken into custody. The state is holding him without bond. At this time, it has not been announced when his next court appearance will be.
The FBI confirms the agency was tipped off about the alleged Florida school shooter Nickolaou Cruz last month, and now the Department of Justice is calling for a review of protocol. On Friday, in a Friday release, the DOJ says 250 FBI workers are now investigating the massacre that killed 17 people back on February 5th. A concerned caller voiced his concerns about Cruz's gun ownership and his desire to kill people, along with erratic behavior and disturbing social media posts, as well as the potential of him conducting a school shooting. The Bureau said the information should have been assessed as a potential threat to life. The Miami field office never received information about the tip, so an investigation was not opened.
In a resounding defeat after months of negotiations, senators failed to advance a bipartisan proposal to resolve the future of millions of young undocumented immigrants on Friday. As CNN's Mary Maloney reports, the path forward on immigration reform is now anything but clear.
The debate over immigration reform and what to do about millions of young undocumented immigrants back at square one.
It's been a disappointing week.
A much-anticipated bipartisan Senate proposal failed to get the 60 votes necessary Thursday.
The motion is not agreed to.
The bill would have paired a pathway to citizenship for nearly 2 million undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children with $25 billion in border security. It was one of 4 amendments that suffered the same fate. One of those was backed by the White House, a 4-pillar solution that included cuts to family-based migration and would have ended the diversity lottery program. But even if the bipartisan bill had passed, it would have been dead by the time it reached President Trump's desk. Trump called the bill a total catastrophe, tweeting that voting for this amendment would be a vote against law enforcement and a vote for open borders. Senators on both sides of the aisle shared frustrations.
This is a decision the Senate is going to regret.
The immigration demagogues win again on the left and the right.
What happens next? There's no clear answer, but there are signs of hope in the halls of Congress that a deal could still be worked out.
I think we shouldn't leave town without taking back up several of these amendments and reconsidering them.
The only way I see a solution is for the president to grab the reins back and lead himself and get Democrats and Republicans in a room focusing on strong border security and a fair solution for DACA.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Adam Levine and his wife, model Bahati Prinsloo, are now the proud parents of a second baby girl. A representative for the Maroon 5 singer confirmed the baby's birth to People magazine. No details about the baby have been released except her name, Gio Grace Levine. The couple has one other child, a girl named Dusty Rose, who was born in September 2016.
Coming up after the break, Katie Nickolaou has your full forecast.
Plus, we have a breakdown of this past week's Crusaders sports. Stick with us.
Valparaiso University, where passion meets purpose.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up. Thank you. Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats and floods the senses. Passion is alive, it has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
much like the weather, it seems that our graphic system is a bit of a mess, so I'm just going to go straight on ad lib with this. Look outside right now and you'll see some pouring rain. We have a system that's going to be moving straight through our area, and that's what's going to be dumping about 3 to 4 inches of snow. Now, I'm going to go right on over to our green screen and I'm going to show you guys this. This is our current weather alerts. We currently have a flood watch across the entire area. That's what this minty green color is. And in the Valpo-Porter County area, we have 2 flood warnings. Those are for river flooding. So if you live near a low-lying area, be sure you be careful, especially with these rains continuing. Now, here's the system as we look at it now. We just had that big bit of rain pass on through our area. That's what's going to be moving through the rest of the evening. Now, as we move on and take a look at the traffic cam, you can see that it is very wet out there. You can see the reflection of the headlights, so be careful of hydroplaning. I know we don't usually talk about that in February, but it is a very real threat. Now here's the system as far as temperatures go. We got a warm front going straight up into Michigan. That's what we're going to see, these warm temperatures tomorrow coming in. And then Davenport, they're in for a really rude awakening tomorrow morning as this cold air is going to be moving into the area. Closer to us though, 57 in Valpo, 60 in Lafayette. My brother goes to Indiana University and he said they reached 70 in Bloomington today. As far as future temperatures go, we're going to be sitting right around 61 tomorrow, although Tuesday evening we're going to be seeing 42 degrees, and that's when we're going to dip back down into below freezing temperatures. Not very pleasant though. Current radar, we do have that heavy rain around us. That's just going to keep on moving through our area, and as we go into the weekend or go through the next night and into tomorrow, we're going to see those temperatures continue to increase, and then as we go into Friday and the weekend, those temperatures are going to kind of dip down so that it's in the mid 40s, lower to mid 30s.
A lot of rain going on outside right now, and it looks like it's going to continue for the next few days. Flooding, will that become an issue here on campus?
Definitely. We have 3 inches of rain already, so it's going to be a bit of a messy situation.
Man, all right. Well, thank you. After the break, we will have a full breakdown of this past week's Crusader sports.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's the better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right now.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
This week was packed to the max with Valpo sports, so let's get right to it. Let's start off first with the Valpo women's basketball team. The Crusaders took on both Southern Illinois and Missouri State this week in 2 exciting weekend matchups. The women first took on Southern Illinois in a nail-biter Friday night at the Arc. It was a roller coaster of emotions during the game, which required 2 overtimes to finally determine a winner. The greatest play of the game had to go to Maya Meredith, who rightfully earned a highlight on SportsCenter this week. Take a look at this. Marley Profit inbounds the ball to Meredith, who, with 0.1 seconds on the clock, goes up from 40 feet out and makes the shot. The crowd went absolutely ballistic. This shot is what sent the game into its first overtime. After tying it up again at 73 apiece, the game entered its second overtime. Unfortunately for the Crusaders, Southern Illinois was able to go 2 of 4 on the line and eked out an 88-86 win for the Salukis. The team returned to the Arc on Sunday night to take on Missouri State. After racking up a quick 14-11 lead, Missouri State eventually regained the lead and managed to pull out a 66-60 win. leaving the Crusaders with a 3-game losing streak at home. The team will have 2 road games this week before returning on March 1st to face UNI at home. The Valpo men's basketball team had an up-and-down week as they took on Loyola in Bradley. The Crusaders traveled to Chicago to take on Loyola on Wednesday in what would turn out to be a disheartening game. Loyola is at the top of the Missouri Valley Conference standings, and it's clear to see why. The Crusaders went down into halftime, down by 7. However, the team came out strong and tied the game up at 42 apiece, but then fell late in the game, with Loyola's coming out a victor of a score of 80-71. The team then took on Bradley at home Saturday night. If you look up the word implosion in the dictionary, don't be surprised if you see a picture of the Bradley basketball team. After holding the lead by double digits in the first half and going into halftime with a 5-point lead, Bradley looked like they were going to handily beat the Crusaders. While that didn't happen, Valpo went on a 21-0 run in the second half, scoring on 10 of 12 possessions, while Bradley went 0 for 6 from the field and 0 for 2 from the foul line. After several 3-point baskets, including a 35-footer as the shot clock ran out by Bakari Evelyn, Valpo led Bradley by 17 points. Yes, the Crusaders managed to pull out 32 points to dig themselves out of the first half deficit and launch themselves into the lead. The final score, Bradley 64, Valpo 77. What's even more amazing is that Valpo scored 51 of its points in the second half. This team will look to build on this win this Tuesday on senior night as they take on UNI at home in their final home game of the year, aired on CBS Sports. The softball team was busy this weekend as they competed in the Buccaneer Invitational. The team came up with 4 wins out of the 5 that they played. One of the best games of the tournament was the final one when the Crusaders took on North Carolina Central. In this game, sophomore pitcher Emily Richardson got her first career no-hitter. This was the first no-hitter by a Valpo pitcher since 2013. The men's basketball team had their first game of the season against Alabama this weekend. Baseball team. In a 3-day triple-header, the Crusaders lost all 3 games. However, they came close to beating Alabama in the second game of the set as they only lost by 1 point with a final score of 6-5. And as far as national sports go, it was a high-octane weekend for NASCAR fans. NASCAR kicked off the 2018 season with the sold-out Daytona 500 Sunday. Newly retired Dale Earnhardt Jr. led the command to fire the engines as newcomer Alex Bowman takes his place in the 88 car. Former NFL quarterback Peyton Manning led the field to the green flag. Didn't take long for trouble to arrive early in the race as Denny Hamlin, then leader, slid through his pit box on pit road. Since the gas man had begun fueling before the car was behind the line, NASCAR officials penalized the team and put them a lap down. Far from a great start for the Joe Gibbs Racing team, and the team's early struggles continued as former champion and teammate Kyle Busch blew a tire early in the race. He made his way back onto the track shortly thereafter before being involved in a wreck just laps later. That would all but end his and several others' hopes for a win on the day. Busch would end up finishing 25th after sustaining damage. Meanwhile, on the track, intense blocking at the end of stage 1 as Ricky Stenhouse tries to hold off Ryan Blaney, putting him in a tailspin. Stenhouse recovers, but the cars behind him lost control entering turn 3 and began the first of several big ones in this race. The crash would ultimately end the days of 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, as well as Eric Jones and several other drivers. There was plenty more action to come. A similar scene unfolded 50 laps later as Chase Elliott tried to block Brad Keselowski. Elliott would go for a wild ride. Take a look at that. This crash would end Danica Patrick's NASCAR career as today was her final start in the NASCAR series. Elliott found himself in a mangled mess, as did Kevin Harvick and Keselowski. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney looked solid all day long, taking the green-white checkered flag to win stage 2. But this race was far from over. A late race restart led to more drama as Blaney clipped the 41 car of Kurt Busch, sending him into the wall and making for another big wreck with just 2 laps to go. This one would claim 2017 Daytona winner Kurt Busch and would damage Blaney's car as well. And that put the race into overtime, and more drama unfolded on the backstretch as Eric Almirola found himself fighting to block Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon. He was able to hold them off up until turn 3, but as they approached that corner, Austin Dillon got a good run, hit the back of him, clipped his bumper, and sent him careening into the wall. But the fight continued all the way to the finish line, and Austin Dillon would find himself victorious exactly 20 years since Dale Earnhardt Sr. won here in the same number 3 car. Certainly a lot of history with that number, and Dillon put it on display with an Earnhardt-like celebration burnout across the grass. The whole team there sliding along the grass. They sure do know how to celebrate a victory, certainly a career-defining moment for that entire race team and a well-deserved win after the classic Great American Race. And a big race for rookie Bubba Wallace as well, becoming the highest finishing African-American racer in Daytona 500 history, barely reaching second place. He fought hard all the way to the finish line, edging out Denny Hamlin in what was a photo finish for that driver. Take a look at how close these two cars were to each other. That was incredible finish for his first NASCAR race, and what an exciting race that was. The Daytona 500 never disappoints, and yesterday was no exception to that.
That just was amazing. I can't believe it. It's great footage. I love that you found that for us.
Yes, well, thank you. All right, well, we'll have a final look at the weather coming up after the break. Stick with us.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
You know, I gotta say, it looks like it's gonna be a pretty miserable week ahead with temperatures sticking in the 40s, but you know what? Bright side, we're gonna be seeing 60 tomorrow.
Hey, that's good. As long as it's gonna rain, as long as it's warm, I can deal with that.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, for Katie and myself, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on The Shield.